How's it going, friends? What's going on, friends? What's going on, friends? Lionel Greenes here. We're out in St. David's State Park along the southeastern coastline of Errington, New Jexland. And I've got to tell you, it is a blazing hot day today. 98.5 degrees, sun's bearing down on us. I've got my UV protection on. We're out in the field today in search of a personal favourite waterfowl of mine and a near ubiquitous species in this region. That's right, Kyrena muscata. You know, I've encountered this creature many times in my travels, and it's always a pleasure to get to see it again. But I thought today I would bring you along so that we could get an up close and personal look at this fascinating bird together. Shall we? Now here, we've got some lovely specimens. As you can see, oh shit, fuck. As you can see, these creatures have beautiful variations between their plumage and their facial patterning between individuals. It's one of the reasons I love this species. But right now, what we're going to attempt to do is feed one of these birds. See if I'll get one of the younger ones. Hey, buddy. There you go, buddy. There you are. There you are, buddy. That's a good boy. Now again, I don't recommend doing this out in the wild. It's not healthy for birds. Get them used to accepting food from humans. But if you're going to do it, I do recommend, hey, easy there, pal. He knows what I'm going to say. I'm going to recommend natural, nutrient-rich bird seed over shitty carbohydrates like crackers and bread, because that's not going to be healthy for birds and it's not going to resemble what they get in the wild. So go with the bird seed. As you can see, they're going fucking nuts over it. But anyhow, these are just one of the myriad kinds of gorgeous, brilliant, intriguing and uplifting birds that you might see if Jeremy Albertson were to do his long anticipated, highly acclaimed and inevitably successful bird watching stream. I think he's cut me.
Hey, thanks to our field naturalist Lionel Greenes. And you know, he makes a really good point. They say you don't fully appreciate what you have until you've lost it. And ever since we lost Jerma, I've more and more lamented the fact that we never got a birdwatching stream. You see, I've been an amateur bird photographer for a few years now, and if you've never tried it, then take my word for it, birdwatching can be extremely fun. But, like alcohol and other intoxicants, Jerma has the uncanny ability to make something that's already fun even more enjoyable, and birdwatching would be no exception. But just how would he go about such a birdwatching event? When and where would he do it? What kind of birds might he see? These are the questions I hope to answer in the next several minutes, with the ultimate goal of proving to you, and to Jerma, that a birdwatching stream would be entertaining, educational, and extremely successful. In terms of how he would actually pull it off, Jerma has plenty of production options at his disposal. If you've seen, for example, his dollhouse or baseball streams, you'll notice he already has the ability to produce streams with elaborate sets using several fixed and adjustable cameras. But for a birdwatching stream, he realistically would only need around 4 cameras, one close-up on him, a mid-zoom camera for scenery shots, and 1 or 2 cameras with telephoto lenses for close-up bird shots. That's 4 camera operating personnel, let's say 2 spotters to assist them, and 1 or 2 control personnel to manage the stream itself. That's probably overkill, but it sure beats the 30-person dollhouse stream in terms of accessibility. A team of this size would also allow Jerma flexibility in choosing a location. It certainly wouldn't be infeasible for Jerma to birdwatch from the middle of the desert, and areas like the Desert National Wildlife Refuge offer excellent natural settings replete with wildlife. In my visit to the Gilbert Riparian Preserve, I found nearly a dozen different types of wild birds in a relatively small geographical area, certainly not too large to explore in the space of a single stream. Still, there's a good argument to be made for doing the birdwatching stream in Jerma's own backyard, or thereabouts. A fixed location like this would allow Jerma to place feeding stations and bird baths ahead of time, attracting birds in the days and weeks preceding the actual stream, and providing an idea of which times of day are best for high bird traffic. In all my birding excursions in the field, I've found that birds of all kinds tend to congregate in loose groups that permeate erratically through a given area, making them difficult to target consistently unless the entire area is oversaturated with birds. In a backyard, alternatively, it's easier to control where the birds will actually be. And this hardly comes at the expense of bird diversity or quantity, as it's not uncommon to have dozens of wild birds populating a residential green space in a short period. Birdwatching is no less rewarding or authentic if you let the birds come to you. With a few options for location in mind, the next question to answer is when, during the year, it would be best for Jerma to hold the birdwatching stream. This is actually a fairly easy question to answer using BirdCast migration data, which allows us to see exactly when and where large quantities of birds are passing through a geographical region at a given time. Each year, there are two large migratory events in which hundreds of millions of birds first head north in the spring from Central and South America to breed in North America, and then return south in the winter in search of the food abundant in warmer climates. After sampling data from several different months, I found, unsurprisingly, that the best time to find these migrating birds in the Las Vegas area is mid-April to mid-May. Take a look at this BirdCast migration heat map from April 21st to April 22nd. Nearly 3 million birds crossed over the entire state of Nevada in one night, with a particular concentration around Las Vegas, and many of these birds will stick around to rest and feed during the daytime before resuming their migratory journey the following evening. There's especially decent bird traffic for several days after this, all the way into late May, providing an ample time frame in which Jerma can capitalize on the influx of colorful migratory birds in his region. And these don't even include the local endemic birds, which will significantly bolster the quantity of birds available to spot during this time. Now for the fun part. Which birds would Jerma be likely to see? While we can't be certain of exactly which birds, migratory or resident, might turn up on a given day, we can turn to the Cornell Lab of Ornithology for a good idea of the historical frequency of observations of a given bird species at a specific time, using data from the eBird platform. Cross-referencing this list with birds that, in my own experience, I believe would be relatively easy in the field or in a backyard to spot and film — some birds can be very camera shy — I came up with these potential birds. Let's start with the guaranteed or extremely likely birds. My personal favorite, the mourning dove, is an elegant and abundant bird known for its extensive range across North America, equally at home in the wild and the suburbs. Field marks include a long pointed tail, dark round spots on the wing exterior, and reddish-pink feet. The mourning dove is very easy to attract and is a consistent visitor to seed feeders, usually by the dozen. They're also delightfully charming to watch and don't move around much, making them easy to film. A close cousin of the mourning dove, the white-winged dove, would also be a fairly safe bet for the birdwatching stream. Characterized by a strip of white feathers along the wings and an orange-red eyeball with light blue eye ring, this bird too can be expected to regularly visit bird feeders in droves, and they're similarly a joy to watch. Comparable in appearance, but set apart by its dark black collar, the appropriately named Eurasian collared dove could just as well be spotted in the wild or at home. In my experience, they tend to resist being filmed more than white-winged or mourning doves, but with enough patience, Jerma could surely get a "Oh, look at me! Look at me!" from them. Rounding out the doves on our list is the diminutive, compact you might say, but no less beautiful Inca dove. Known for their small stature and scale-like plumage pattern, these doves tend to forage for food on the ground, particularly in desert regions, and can be somewhat tricky to track with a camera as they frantically scatter about. Nevertheless, their established population in Jerma's area renders them a likely candidate to make an appearance on a potential birdwatching stream. Often found beside doves at feeders and perches alike is the beautifully patterned house finch, a common songbird with an uncommonly attractive appearance. The males of this species boast a boldly colorful head and breast, usually red or orange. They can be tough to spot in the wild, but give them a bird feeder stocked with safflower seeds and they'll be drawn to it like Jerma to a shitty iPad game. Definitely a strong possibility they'd show up to the stream. Another songbird with a bright face, the verdant sports an unassuming gray body with a gaudy yellow head. At home in the desert brush, this subtly beautiful bird might prove somewhat difficult to spot, but could be lured in with berries, insects, or hummingbird nectar. Less common, but more boldly patterned, is the widespread house sparrow, an extremely common old-world songbird that gathers in numerous flocks to feed or chat. As their name suggests, these birds are tame enough around people to be considered practically domestic creatures, making them another good possibility to spot. The last of the classic and highly likely birds is the American robin, a lovely and large songbird that can be frequently seen visiting bird baths or hopping around on the ground to find worms or fallen berries. Common as they are, the American robin doesn't usually stick around in one spot for very long. But with a source of water on hand, Jerma could very possibly bring one of these into frame. So far, we've only discussed endemic, local species that Jerma would be likely to spot during a birdwatching stream in either a backyard or in the wild. Now let's consider some less common and tougher to find, but much more intriguing and attractive migratory birds that could still make an appearance. We've got the yellow-rumped warbler, a fairly common and intricately patterned migrant, which could be lured in using a healthy slathering of bark butter and a water source. These birds comprise the largest fraction of mixed warbler flocks during spring migration. Then there's the orange-crowned warbler, not quite as common, but just as likely to be attracted using strategic bark butter placement and a bird bath. Their orange crown is usually not visible, leaving them instead identifiable primarily by their overall yellowish or olive-colored plumage. Wilson's warbler, on the other hand, has a distinctive and diagnostic black cap, but is rarer and moves around quite a bit. Although less likely to be seen on a birdwatching stream, especially in the wild, an appearance from Wilson would definitely merit a few pogs in the chat.
This is my Wilson now.
The last of our yellow warblers is, well, the yellow warbler, characterized by brown and black streakings on the wings, chest, and head on breeding adult males. These birds forage in shrubs close to the ground and near water sources and would be another somewhat rare sight. But even rarer would be McGillivray's warbler, a beautiful dark gray masked songbird known to forage in dense undergrowth. The rarity of a sighting of this bird would probably be comparable to that of Jerma coming out of retirement just to play Doki Doki Literature Club. There are, of course, several other birds which are mostly, but not completely out of the question. The beautiful rosy-faced lovebird, for example, or the Gila woodpecker, great-tailed grackle, ruby-crowned kinglet, Costa's hummingbird, black phoebe, Canada goose, American coot, Cooper's hawk, northern mockingbird, western tanager, common yellowthroat, hell, maybe even a spotted towhee or indigo bunting. Not at all likely, mind you, but not impossible either. And yes, of course, a Muscovy duck too. You get the idea. The point is, after all my research, while Las Vegas isn't exactly what I would consider to be a prime birding hotspot, it is still the home and thoroughfare for a tremendous wealth of interesting birds that absolutely could be filmed, observed, studied, and enjoyed during a birdwatching stream, in the unlikely event that Jerma ever decides to do one. But who knows? They say birdwatching is a favorite hobby of the retired. Anyway, in the meantime, though, I'll continue to go birdwatching myself. You should too. And all the while, distantly hope that Jerma will finally choose to do something with birds besides eat them.
Oh, shh! There's already a bird in here. He found his way in.
Or stuff them into computer cases.
Trying to think of a way we can put the birdhouse. If you have a bird for you want to make sure there's a birdhouse in there just in case you want to make any tweets.
Oh shit! I think Lionel's still out in the field. Fuck, it's so hot out there. Hey Lionel, you can come back inside now. Well folks, thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to tune in next time when I definitively demonstrate why a Bloodborne remake will be coming to the Nintendo Switch?